contrasting active and passive sentences in the last lecture. So in this lecture, we are going to continue the notes related to choosing active or passive. The second note, uh, choosing the active or the passive form of a sentence does not change the meaning, but it does affect the way you think about the information in the sentence. Use an active sentence on who or what performs the action. Use a passive sentence to focus on the receipt or the result of an action. Let's take this example to see the difference between the active sentence and the passive one. So, in the form of active sentence, we can say we tried to get help during the storm, but we couldn't get through on the phone. So we waited until the next morning. The present sentence infers that the focus is on us, like the speakers, and what we did storm. When I'm trying to convert the active sentence into the passive form, I can say as the following. The next morning, our roof was damaged and the basement was flooded. Next door, the porch was ruined and several windows were broken. The passive form of this sentence make the focus to be on the results of the sentences describe the damage caused by the storm. Uh, Concerning the reasons for using passive form, sorry, we can put the following notes. The first one related to the focus on results or processes. First, use the passive when the receiver or result of an action is more important than the agent. The passive is often in descriptions of results or processes involving things rather than people. For example, many homes were damaged by the flood. In other words, we have talked about the result because the result is more important than the agent. The mixture is boiled before it's poured into the bowl. In this sentence, we can see that the focus is on the process. Another note about reasons for using passive is related to omitting the agent. When should I, when or where I should omit the agent? Passive sentences that do not mention the agent are called agentless passives. They are used when the agent is unimportant, unknown, or obvious. Um, an example about unimportant agent is the following one. Supercomputers were developed to solve complex problems. So, in this sentence, the agent was unimportant to be mentioned in this sentence. Uh, if we are take another example related to unknown agent, we can say this package was left on the desk. You know who left it? When it comes to obvious agent, we can say, for example, the mail is delivered at noon. So this sentence, can conclude it. I can conclude that it is obvious that a mail carrier delivers the mail. The agentless passive is used to avoid very general subjects such as people, someone, we, one, and impersonal, you and they. The passive often sounds more indirect or impersonal. For example, agentless passive, I can say, ID photos are being taken today, while the active form of this sentence, I can put it in the following form. They are taking ID photos today. Calcium is needed for strong. This is the passive form of the agentless passive. In the active form, I can say for this agentless passive, people need calcium for strong bones. Reservations are required. This is the agentless passive sentence. The active form of the sentence could take following form. We require reservations. Partial is an that is used as a garnish. Partial is an verb that one uses as a garnish. The other notes about the same reason, the same topic related to the reason of using passive is the following. Sometimes the agentless passive is used to avoid taking responsibility for an action or to avoid blaming another person. A boss speaking to his employees. A serious error was made in the payroll. The post deliberately doesn't say who made the error. Here, we can see from that two boxes on the left or and right of the screen or the present slide is the simple present passive form and the present continuous passive form. So in case I would like to put or to build a simple present passive sentence, I can use the form on the left side of the present slide. So I can use am is are plus past participle of the verb followed by, which is an optional here, by noun. The present continuous passive takes the following form. Am is are being a plus past participle followed by plus noun. Here are some examples. The directions are explained. You can follow that by the teacher, or you can just say the direction are explained. The answer isn't explained. You can say, for example, by the student, or you can stop to this point and just you can say the answer isn't explained. Is the study published yet? So the answer for this form, you can say yes, it is, no, it isn't. When are the results? When are the results announced? This is like question form in the simple present passive. When it comes to present continuous passive, uh, here are some examples. You can compare this one with that one, and you can see the difference between them. The directions are being explained. The answer isn't being explained. Is the study being published? How are the results being announced? Uh, when I'm talking about using the passive form, some of the transitive verbs can be in the passive. A transitive verb is a verb that is followed by an object. For example, give an example, or give an exam, throw a baseball, took a meal. By plus a noun phrase in optional at the end of the passive sentence. Like this one. An example for this note, you can see that one for more real for you. So by and plus a noun phrase is optional at the end of the passive sentence. You can say, for example, the directions are explained. You can put a noun phrase uh, or by plus noun phrase at the end of the passive sentence, or you can just omit this by plus noun phrase. The directions were explained. You can say just the direction were explained and you just stop speaking, or you can say the direction were explained by the teacher. The study is being published by Psychology Today, or you can just say the study is being published. Here are some extra uh, examples to help you how to convert or the active form into a passive form. Any questions, student? خروجا 21 بس 14 دخلوا 6 أرشد أرشد مجيد أرشد رشيد عفوا رهف موجودة؟
نعم دكتور. نعم دكتور.
إيه تمام.
هو كاظم.
نعم أستاذ.
Transitive verbs that cannot followed by objects are called intransitive verbs. They have no passive forms. Here are some common intransitive verbs like appear, come, die, go, look, rain, stay, arrive, cry, emerge, happen, occur, sleep, and walk. Transitive non-passive verbs. Verbs that can be followed by objects are called transitive verbs. Most transitive verbs have passive forms, but some do not. Notice how the passive form of fed does not make sense in English. For example, the active form when uh, we use we are used the form of the verb fed. The dress fit Varelli. Varelli is fit by the dress, which is incorrect here. So, for example, the verb fit, uh, we can use it. We can't use it in the passive form. Here are some more transitive verbs that have no passive forms. Bean has a CD player, so the verb have do not have the passive form. Jenny resembles her father. She became a doctor. She lacked funds. The test consists of two parts. The book costs $10. The dress suits her. 10 pounds equal 4.5 kilos. He weighs 150 pounds. Verbs that are intransitive or transitive. Some verbs can be transitive or intransitive. When they are intransitive, they do not have passive form. Here are some examples. Begin, break, close, and freeze. Open, start, stop. Transitive and intransitive verbs. This is like uh, a table that can help you to make a brief for the difference between the transitive verb and intransitive verbs, which is I get it from a book to help you in concluding notes related to the transitive and intransitive verbs. Uh, when it comes to use like a dictionary to find out if the verb is transitive or intransitive. The usual abbreviation are V dot T to refer to transitive and VI to refer to intransitive. Some verbs have both transitive and intransitive uses. For example, transitive, student study, books, intransitive, student study. So the verb study has both form, transitive and intransitive use. This is the end of the. Uh, we are going to present another notes.
Uh, when it comes to uh, talk, talking about past, we have we should talk about the simple past and the past continuous, or in some textbooks they call it past progressive. So, related to simple past, the simple past for completed past situation. When I'm talking about a completed past situation, I should use simple past. The simple past describes an action or state that started and finished at a definite time in the past. The action or state The action or state can last for a short or long period of time, occur in the recent or distant past, and happen once and happen once or repeatedly. An example related to using simple past to show that I'm talking about uh, an action or state that happened uh, during or in a short period of time in the past. The rain lasted for 30 seconds. When it comes to recent past, I can say, for example, she was very sick last week. When it related to an action or state happened once in the past, I can say, for example, she arrived last late last week. In case I should use a period to talk about an action or state that happened in the past, uh, and that action or state um, uh, take a long period of time. I can say, for example, the rain lasted for many days. When it comes to distant past, I can say, for example, she was very sick last year. And for things, can also use the simple past. For example, she always arrived late. On the other hand, when it comes to using the past continuous or the past progressive, the difference between the simple past and the past continuous, the simple past, as I said, is used for completed past situations, while the past continuous is used for in progress past situations. So the past continuous expresses an activity in a process in progress at an exact moment in the past. The activity began before the specific point in time and might also have continued after that time. For example, that the past continuous can be used to talk about activities in progress at an exact moment, I can say, for example, he was getting ready for bed at 11:40 p.m. He still wasn't ready 10 minutes later. The past continuous or the past progressive may also express an activity in progress over an extended period of time in the past. So, just to make a plea about using the past continuous, the first situation that I can use past continuous is when I'm talking about an action or activity in progress at an exact moment in the past. And the second situation, I can use the past continuous to talk about a progress over an extended period in the past. The activity may have been ongoing or may have started repeatedly. For example, they were working on the project for 2 years. So, what is the difference between completed and in a progress uh, past situations? The first one, as I told you, I should use a simple past, while for the in a progress past situations, I should use the past continuous. So the past continuous and the simple past can be similar in meaning, but not exactly the same. To describe a situation as completed, so when I'm talking about a completed situation, I should use the simple past. To this, on the other hand, to describe the same situation in a progress, also in the past, but in a progress, I should use the past continuous. The following two examples can show me what is the difference uh, between using the simple past and past continuous. I lived on Eddy Street in 1986. It's talking about a completed um situation in the past. On the other hand, I can say, for example, I was living on Eddy Street while I was in school. So it's also in the past, but the situation is still in progress. So I can use the past continuous. The simple past implies the completion of event. So I'm talking when I'm using a simple past, I should put in my consideration that I'm talking about a completion of event. The past continuous often emphasizes the activity uh, or process. The past continuous activity may or may not have been completed. So, for the simple past, I'm talking about like a completed event, while the past continuous may the action or situation is completed or not. So, for example, he wrote a letter in the library and mailed it on his way home. He finished the letter. He was writing a letter in the library when the lights went out. We don't know if he finished
a letter. So, and this sentence, I don't know whether he finished writing the letter or not. Uh, the past continuous for background information. The past continuous often appears at the beginning of a narrative to describe background activities. It can express several background activities happening at the same time as the main event. The main event is in the simple past. When I'm talking about a background information, usually I have to use two parts in the sentence. The part that describes the background activities, I should use the past continuous when I'm talking in the past, while the main event, I should use the simple past. It was raining hard outside. I was sleeping, and my roommate was taking a shower. At exactly 7 a.m., there was a huge cloud of thunder. I jumped up as the house shook violently. So, when I'm talking about background, I should use uh, past continuous. While when I'm talking about the main event, I should use the simple past. Here, can see the form of how can I build a simple past sentence. So I should use a subject followed by verb in the past form, and there's like any uh, additional information after the main verb. While for the past continuous, here's the form. How can I build like a past continuous sentence? I was walking that night. He was feeling scared. They were traveling by ship. Uh, can you please read this example and tell me what is the difference between using a simple past and past continuous? I'm talking about this example. Anyone?
أستاذ عبد السؤال يا جحمان.
Can you read the following example and tell me why I use simple past form in some in parts of this sentence while I use past continuous in some other parts.
أقرأها دكتور.
Go ahead.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an Austrian musician and composer. composer. He lived from 1756 to 1791. He started composing at the age of 5 and wrote more than 1600 pieces. 600 pieces of music. He was only 35 years old when he died.
So what is the difference between, for example, why did I use just a simple past form in this sentence?
Because هي خلينا نقول تكلمت عن
No, just
نعم.
speak in English.
Because it talked about a fact عن حقيقة مسبقة.
We said here, the simple past describes an action or state that started and finished at a definite time in the past. So you know that Mozart is like an ancient, musician and composer. So I'm talking about
So
a state that
because
happened in the past.
so because we said that he was a musician.
No, I'm talking about this or a situation that started and finished at a definite time in the past.
نعم.
Thank you. Any questions, students?
لا تفهم لا تتفهم.
Another example about using simple past and also past continuous. We can say, for example, yesterday Karen and Jim played tennis. They started at 10 o'clock and finished at 11:30. So at 10:30, which is like between 10 and 11:30, they were playing tennis. They were playing, they were in the middle of playing. They had not finished playing. So when I'm talking about Karen and Jim about their situation at that time. They started at 10 o'clock playing tennis and finished at 11:30. So if I would like to talking about their situation, for example, at 11, how can I describe their situation at that time? I can say, for example, Karen and Jim were playing tennis because they at that time they both of them they didn't finish playing tennis. I was doing something. I was in the middle of doing something at a certain time. The action or situation had already finished, already started before this time, but had not finished. The following
figure can show you what is the difference between the simple past and the past continuous. When I say I starting doing, I'm talking about something that happened in the past. I was doing in the middle point between past and another past. Here is the simple past form when I would like to make a negative statement. I column from a subject followed by did plus not, then the main verb and any uh, phrasal verb or phrasal noun. In case I would like to go to form a yes/no questions, I can use the form in this did followed by subject, and this subject is followed by verb. Did you walk that night? Did he feel scared? Did they travel by ship? Concerning the short answer, in the case of affirmative, I can say yes, I did, or he did, they did. In the negative form of the short answer, I can say no, I didn't, no, he didn't, no, they didn't. Regarding the past continuous form, in case of negative statements, I can say, for example, I wasn't working that night, so I use the subject followed by was or were, a plus not, and the main verb followed by ing form. Or I can say the ing form also. So I wasn't working that night. He wasn't feeling scared. They weren't traveling by ship. To form a yes/no questions, I can use was or where followed by subject and the ing form of the main verb. Were you working that night? Was he feeling scared? Were they traveling by ship? The short answer for the past continuous form, in the case of affirmative, I can say yes, I was, or yes, he was, yes, they were. And the case of negative, I can say no, I wasn't, no, he wasn't, no, they weren't. Uh, in case I would like to form information equations using WH word, I can use the WH word followed by did, and then the subject followed by verb in the case of simple past. So, for example, when did you walk there? Or why did he feel scared? Or why did they travel to? Or where they traveled to. When I'm asking about the subject in the past, I can form the information, the questions in the past, the simple past form as follows. Who walked? I'm asking about the person who walked about a specific, like, for example, make some things in the garden.
So I'm talking or asking about this subject. When I'm asking about an action that happened in the past, I can say, for example, what happened? I'm asking about something happened in the past. The past continuous to make information questions using the past continuous, I can say, for example, when were you working there? Why was he feeling scared? Where were they traveling to? Or I can asking about also the subject or an event in the past. I can use also the past continuous. For example, I can say, who was working late? What was happening? And additional examples are listed in the following paragraph. So I can say, for example, Liz studied very late last night. For example, I can say in the past continuous, this time last year I was driving, I was living in Brazil. For example, we laughed a lot at last night film. Or I waved to Helen, but she wasn't looking. I'm going to stop our lecture today to this point. Any questions, student?
لا تمام دكتور إن شاء الله.
Okay. Good luck, and I hope we'll see you in the next lecture.
حاضر تمام دكتور.
Okay. Yes.
تمام شكرا دكتور.